This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by G&G Armament and TSD Airsoft. Welcome back to Airsoft GI TV. I'm your host Tim, and this gun in front of me is the G&G M14 EBR. Yes, I already did a video on it. It was kind of a quick overview because it was a pre-production sample. This is the final product. This is what you'll be receiving when you buy the gun. And so far as I can tell, the only difference from this gun and the pre-production gun is the color. Okay, there were a couple of gray metals used for various parts to accent the gun. It looks like they were replaced for a darker metal so that the gun looks more clean. It looks a little more flush. Obviously the orange tip remains because that is the law. The thing that I like most about this gun is that G&G actually used their heads when they decided to make it. And the example I can give you for that is the front handguard. Okay, the front handguard is where the battery goes on this gun. Obviously, that's the way all EBRs have been since they've been in existence for Airsoft. But instead of having that bar that sits across the battery compartment that you screw the three screws into, the battery compartment or the handguard is held together by these three screws on this side, and there are another three on this side. So 6 screws in total keep the handguard together. It makes the handguard very solid, and also it keeps the battery compartment from being all cluttered and in an awkward position because of that little bar that used to go across there for other model guns. And so the battery compartment is more open, gives you a little more space, a little more flexibility to put your battery inside. Now I'm going to open it up so I can show you the inside of the battery compartment. These hex screws are 2.5 millimeters, and so I have my 2.5 millimeter Allen key here to open up the battery compartment. Now this is a much better design than some of the other manufacturers, but there are a few things that concern me, and that's why I want to open this up and show you. We're going to be going a little more in depth here about this gun. And I'm going to try to keep all the information new information. So if you have questions or there's something about this gun that I didn't cover, I may have said it in the pre-production video, so you can get the information that way. Alright, here's the battery compartment. Like I mentioned, there's no bar that comes across here, so it's nice and open. One thing that I didn't understand right away is the large connector. Okay, did that mean that this gun can hold a large 8.4 or 9.6 volt battery? No, unfortunately. I tried to put an 8.4 large Intellect 3600 milliamp battery in here. I think is the side battery I used. Maybe it was a 32. Irrelevant. But the battery didn't really fit. Yes, I was able to cram it in here with the connector and the fuse and everything. I was able to get the handguard on and all the screws put in, but it didn't feel comfortable when I was doing it. So I would not recommend a large battery with this gun. G&G have said that this gun is not lithium polymer ready, so I don't recommend using that. An 8.4 or a 9.6 mini or nunchuck or some sort of custom battery would be recommended, but you are going to need a large to small connector to accommodate the large connector on the gun. I'm just putting this out there. If this were my EBR, I'd snip the wires right here and just put a mini connector on there. That's just me. You can do with it whatever you want. The thing that really concerned me about using a large battery, and even though it fits, the main reason why I would not recommend it is because this is the charging handle guide and spring. So if your battery is too cumbersome, you could impede the use of your charging handle, which means you won't be able to adjust your hop-up. Now theoretically, once your hop-up is adjusted for the type of BBs you're using, you won't need to change it at all. But it's nice to be able to have this, and if your battery impedes that motion, then you're not going to be able to do it. Another thing that I want to cover is the adjustment of the stock. Okay, all EBRs function this way. So, just thought I'd show you there is a button right here, right behind the pistol grip, that you can hold down and it adjusts the stock. The adjustment of the cheek riser is not as easy to do on the fly. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is lift up this lever. Okay, this is what keeps it in place. And you're not done yet. Okay, these holes right here are the adjustment holes that keep the cheek riser in place. Now in the manual it says to use a fake bullet, but in actuality anything that fits in this hole, will work. Okay, so I'm using my 2.5 millimeter Allen key. And there you go. Once you have the stock at the desired height, you can put this lever back down. It keeps the cheek riser nice and stable. Some things to consider when thinking about the G&G M14 EBR. Like I've already mentioned, the large connector. This pistol grip, okay, the mount or the plate or whatever keeps this pistol grip attached to the chassis of the gun is very well designed and very well reinforced. A lot of the other EBR models out there that I've played with have a very wobbly pistol grip. Okay, it may be alright when it's nice and new, but after you play with it for a while, you'll realize that the pistol grip gets really loose. That does not happen with this G&G model, or at least it hasn't happened yet. I hope it doesn't. I can tell that this pistol grip is very well designed, it's very well reinforced into the gun. Fuse delete, I've already mentioned that that's what I would do if I own the gun. It's completely up to you. One other thing that I want to mention before we go out and chrono this thing is the top M14 mount that covers the ejection port. G&G make an M14 mount for scopes. Okay, if you put it onto this gun, which it does accommodate for, it does not make this rail monolithic. So, there was one question I had for G&G, and they have said that the riser mount is a little bit higher than this front rail. So, if you're going to use like a red dot sight or a hollow sight, you may want to put this on here. But if you do want to have a magnified scope with a much shorter eye relief than a red dot sight, you're going to want to put the G&G M14 mount on here and mount it to that and not this top rail. That's pretty much it for the features of the gun. Remember, the pre-production sample, I wasn't able to fire it, but this gun is functional and it's working, and so we're going to chrono it right now. Airsoft GI would like to take a moment and thank our sponsors, Echo One USA and ZShot.com, Sistema's US-based distributor. Alrighty, looks like the FPS on the G&G EBR is around 370 or so, give or take a few FPS. The price tag on this bad boy is $500. This gun is not for the faint at heart. This gun is made for the best of the best. The real airsofters out there that appreciate quality over quantity. That's pretty much all I got on the G&G EBR. Thanks for watching GI TV. I'll catch you guys next time. The Airsoft GI TV episode you've just enjoyed is brought to you in part by JBU Airsoft.